In the words of Steve Biko, the most potent weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. It isn't just a profound quote, but the life mantra of a man who would go on to ignite a revolution. Our story begins on the 18th of December 1946 in a small South African town known as King Williamstown. Here, Stephen Bantu Biko, or as the world would come to know him, Steve Biko, was born. Growing up under the harsh realities of apartheid, young Biko was not shielded from the stark racial disparities that marred his homeland. The injustices etched a deep impression on his mind, nudging him towards a path of activism. Yet it was not until his university years that his journey truly began. Enrolling in the University of Natal to study medicine, Biko found himself amidst the intellectual fervor of student politics. The university didn't just provide him with a formal education, but also an exposure to the deep-seated racial prejudices that permeated every layer of South African society. The more he understood the oppressive apartheid policies, the more he felt compelled to challenge them. It was in these academic halls where Biko's political consciousness took shape. He began to question the status quo, to challenge the systemic racism that was embedded in the very fabric of his society. He didn't just want to be a silent spectator, but a catalyst for change. His growing interest in activism against apartheid was more than just a pastime. It was a calling. And so, amidst textbooks and lecture halls, Steve Biko found his true purpose. The seeds of rebellion were sown, not in the battlefield, but in the mind of a young student. A spark was ignited, a spark that would soon turn into a raging fire of revolution. It was here, in the academic halls of Natal, where the seeds of a revolution were sown. A new dawn was breaking, and at its helm was a young medical student, Steve Biko. As the winds of change swept across South Africa, Biko emerged as a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a pivotal figure in the Black consciousness movement. This was a movement that rallied against the chains of apartheid, seeking to uplift the Black population from the shadows of subjugation and into the light of self-reliance, pride, and identity. Biko's vision was not confined to the realms of rhetoric and discourse. He was a man of action, translating his ideals into tangible initiatives that sought to empower his people. In 1968, along with other like-minded individuals, he co-founded the South African Students' Organization, or SASO. This wasn't merely a student body, it was a vessel for change, a platform that sought to unite and empower Black students, providing them with the means and motivation to challenge the status quo. SASO was a beacon of hope. It was a collective voice that resonated across the campuses, echoing the aspirations of a generation yearning for change. It was a catalyst, sparking a sense of camaraderie, unity, and empowerment among Black students. SASO's influence was not limited to the confines of educational institutions. It permeated the very fabric of society, awakening a sense of pride and identity among the Black population. Biko's leadership was instrumental in shaping SASO's vision and mission. He instilled in the members a sense of purpose, a burning desire to reclaim their identity and dignity from the oppressive clutches of apartheid. He inspired them to rise above the societal constraints, to assert their rights, and to challenge the apartheid policies. His unwavering resolve and relentless pursuit of equality galvanized a generation of activists, inspiring them to continue the struggle against apartheid. This was more than a student organization, it was a beacon of hope in a sea of oppression. Biko's role in the Black consciousness movement and his leadership of SASO marked the beginning of a new era, an era of awakening, of empowerment, and of resistance against apartheid. Biko was not just a student activist, he was a visionary, a leader. This simple statement embodies the essence of Steve Biko's life as a tireless crusader against apartheid. Biko's activism was unique in its approach. He didn't just rally against the chains of apartheid, he sought to dismantle the insidious psychological and cultural effects of this oppressive system. Biko understood that apartheid not only shackled the bodies of Black South Africans, but it also sought to imprison their minds, and so he waged a war against this invisible enemy. With the South African Students' Organization, Biko led a movement that challenged the status quo. He believed in the power of education as a tool for liberation, and he used it to fight the psychological chains of apartheid. Biko and his comrades organized community programs that aimed to educate and empower the Black population. They sought to instill a sense of pride and self-reliance in a community that had been systematically stripped of its dignity. But Biko's activism didn't stop at education. He was a catalyst for change, organizing protests that challenged the injustices of apartheid. He rallied against the oppressive laws and policies that sought to marginalize and dehumanize the black population. Biko's protests were a visible and vocal reminder of the black community's resilience and resistance. Biko's leadership extended beyond the realm of protest and education. He was a beacon of hope for a community that had been silenced for far too long. His words and actions inspired a new generation of activists, leaders who would continue the fight for equality and justice in the face of relentless oppression. In Biko's fight against apartheid, he was not just battling an oppressive regime. He was fighting for the dignity and rights of black people. He was fighting for their freedom to express their identity, to assert their humanity, and to claim their rightful place in society. Biko was not just fighting against apartheid, he was fighting for the dignity and rights of black people. His legacy remains a powerful testament to the power of resistance and the human spirit's indomitable will to fight for what is right. Biko's fight for freedom was not without its costs. The year was 1977, a time when the South African government's iron grip on its people tightened. In the face of such adversity, Steve Biko stood tall, fearlessly challenging the oppressive apartheid regime. However, his fierce activism and relentless pursuit of justice did not go unnoticed by those in power. In August of that same year, Biko was arrested under the anti-terrorism laws of the time. These laws, designed to suppress political dissent, allowed the government to detain him without trial. Biko found himself ensnared in a system that sought to silence him, to quell the powerful voice that was inspiring a generation to stand up for their rights. But the worst was yet to come. While in police custody, Biko was subjected to brutal torture and inhumane treatment. The physical abuse he endured was a horrifying indication of the lengths to which the apartheid government would go to maintain its control. Biko's life was tragically cut short on September 12, 1977, when he succumbed to the injuries inflicted upon him. He was just 30 years old. News of Biko's death sent shockwaves around the globe. The circumstances surrounding his demise sparked international outrage and condemnation, casting a harsh spotlight on the brutality of the apartheid regime. The world was watching, and for the first time, many were truly seeing the cost of the fight for freedom in South Africa. Yet even in death, Steve Biko was a beacon of hope. His sacrifice was a stark reminder of the price many had paid, and many more were willing to pay, for the promise of a just and equal society. His name became synonymous with the struggle against apartheid, a symbol of defiance against a system designed to oppress. Biko paid the ultimate price for freedom, but his death was not in vain. His legacy lived on, fueling the resistance against apartheid and inspiring countless others to continue the fight he so bravely led. Steve Biko's life and the price he paid for freedom remain a powerful testament to the indomitable human spirit. Biko's body may have been silenced, but his ideas and legacy continue to echo. In the wake of his tragic demise, Steve Biko left behind a legacy that refused to be snuffed out. The seeds of resistance he had sown during his life had already taken root, growing into a mighty tree of defiance against the apartheid regime. His influence stretched far beyond the borders of South Africa, inspiring continued resistance against racial discrimination across the globe. Biko's writings became instrumental in shaping the consciousness of the black community, both in his homeland and beyond. His book, I Write What I Like, is a collection of his thoughts and ideas, a beacon of hope, and a guide to action for those who sought to challenge the status quo. The impact of his words was profound, igniting a spark in the hearts of countless individuals and encouraging them to stand up for their rights. His ideals of self-respect, dignity, and solidarity were not just theories penned down on paper. They were messages of empowerment, tools for liberation, and a call to action. They were the rallying cry for those who had been silenced for too long, encouraging them to find their voices and demand their rightful place in society. Even decades after his death, Steve Biko's teachings continue to inspire movements for social justice and human rights. His name has become synonymous with resilience and resistance against oppression. He has earned a place among the most revered icons of the struggle against apartheid, not just in South Africa, but around the world. Steve Biko's courage, intellect, and commitment to liberation have left an indelible mark on the pages of history. His life serves as a testament to the power of an individual to effect change, the power of an idea to inspire action, and the power of a dream to ignite a revolution. Biko's spirit of resilience and resistance continues to inspire generations, making him an enduring symbol of the struggle against oppression.